Unbinary is a VR puzzler adventure set in the distant future with a super AI being elected to rule over mankind. The game is 100% hand-painted through Oculus Quill, and after reaching out to the developers, they were kind enough to provide me with a free review copy. Though all thoughts and opinions are entirely my own, and this very nice gesture won't affect my review in any way. Also, this is my review of the early access / beta of Unbinary, which will come out on March 26th. But the full game with all the content looks to launch sometime in Q2 of this year, and that'll come with about 3 hours worth of gameplay, which I consider to be pretty much the Goldilocks zone for a VR game. Now for this review, let's divide it into two parts, the good and the bad. Starting with the good, this game is awesome. Like, just turning on the game, you get greeted with one heck of a title screen. And at this point, you already know that when they say hand-painted graphics, they mean actual hand-painted graphics. Upon pressing a button, an intriguing voice greets you, and colors swirl around you in a dizzying array of textures and dazzling complexions. It truly feels as if you are alive in this futuristic comic book. In a world filled with generic graphics, it's such a breath of fresh air to see a game as ingenious in its creativity as Unbinary. Sure, some might find the visuals off-putting and grotesquely unrealistic, but I simply cannot relate. The unique graphics alone set this game apart. In addition, the visuals tie into every aspect of the game. The puzzle's world and every single interaction is affected by these graphics in an unrepeatable manner. Jurassic Park Aftermath comes close in this regard, but I do think Unbinary takes the win. Now, that voice you heard earlier is someone or something called Webby, a sentient super AI, elected to rule over mankind. Basically, your goal is to test her and search her system for potential bugs. You do this by completing tasks that are set up for you, and collecting these data capsules and giving them back to Webby. And honestly, this gives me some serious Portal and virtual reality vibes, especially the latter. Having this AI design these tests for you is pretty eerie, but Webby is as innocent as they are annoying, and I mean that in the best possible way. They're really the only true character you get to interact with, besides some angry and excited bots. Though, as with any good VR puzzler, good visuals and story don't mean squat if the puzzles themselves are hot, steaming garbage. And I am thrilled to say Unbinary knocks it out of the park. The puzzles are satisfying, intuitive, and extremely varied. Basically, in order to get these data capsules, you must switch artificial identities in order to gain access to these new areas. This is such a wonderful gimmick that easily separates it from other VR puzzlers. I can only hope that it gets further utilized in the full release. Now, the physics of the puzzles are extremely polished, too. Climbing ladders, inserting puzzle pieces, and grabbing and throwing blocks is all very fine-tuned, despite this still being the early access version. Yet I do have to say, that as someone who sucks at puzzle games, even I found it too easy. See, the puzzles, while a blast to complete, just don't offer quite enough challenge, which sounds like a total complaint, right? But surprisingly enough, it's not at all. Since this is only the introductory part to a much larger game that is yet to be released, it fits perfect. Moving on, I can't wait to see the way they expand upon the puzzles and increase the difficulty, but as it stands right now, it's easily engaging enough to warrant its difficulty. Okay, actually, funny story here. I've had to rewrite this part of the review like 5 times, because I keep getting confused about how much content this game has. What originally started as a 500-word critique has instead turned into a segment specifically designed to answer one question. Should you buy this game? Because come March 26th, only 20 minutes of content will be available. That's it. Which, for a priced game of any type, is absurdly low. I mean, if this were a complete release, its lack of utter content would be so staggering that it would be hard to justify a purchase. But let me answer this question simply. Yes, you very much should pick up this game immediately. For starters, the game will be 30% off from its full version price. And more importantly, you'll be getting access to one of VR's most creative, unique, and tightly packaged VR puzzlers out there. See, because despite its low amount of content at launch, I still kind of find myself eager to return to it, just to see that futuristic cartoon-esque world one more time. It has this strange sort of replayability about it that I just can't quite describe. Get this game. In fact, I so highly recommend it that if the full release is anywhere as good as the early access, it's an easy 10. Yeah, that's just how serious I am. It's pure, intense fun. Even though its lack of content at launch may make some users wait until a full release, it still is fantastic in its current form. It still is oozing with charm and creativity, and it still remains one of the best and most immersive games out there. Unbinary simply has more potential than 99% of games. It's apparently clear at all times that the developers poured their hearts and souls into this game, and I am beyond ecstatic to see what they do next. Do yourself a favor and check this game out. Trust me. Anyways, guys, that was my earlier review of Unbinary. I hope you enjoyed it, and as a quick side note to the developers, bring this over to Quest. I'm sure it could run just fine, and it would expand your potential player base tenfold. To be honest, they might have already begun working on a Quest version, but whatever the case, I just had to leave it out there. Also, as soon as a full release comes out, I'll do a brand new, full, updated review of Unbinary.